You should start with grammar, you should start with vocabulary, you should start speaking. Yeah, when you're trying to start learning French, it can be a bit overwhelming. Really overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be complicated, frustrating and overwhelming. In fact, if you're taking the time to plan how you're going to do it, it's finger in the nose kind of easy. Salut à tous, it's Marie from justfrenchit.com. Today together we are going to talk about how to start learning French. How you can start learning French on your own. Allez-y, on s'y met ensemble. This video is going to take you through all the steps to create your own French study plan. But it's going to be a bit long, and if you actually do want to do it at the same pace, it's going to take you a bit of time. So if you don't want to do it all right now, and if you'd rather do it bits by bits during the week, you can sign up for the free email course and you will receive each step every day, so you can work just a little bit every day, and at the end of the week you will have your full complete French study plan. The link is in the description below the video. Okay, so there is 7 steps to starting learning French on your own, 7 steps to creating your own French study plan. The first step is to get clear on what you are shooting for. Get clear on what you want to achieve. Because you know there are plenty of reasons why you would like to learn French: to travel, to have a better job, to find love, to speak with French people, because you absolutely need it in your everyday life, because you married a Frenchman. In fact, there is as many reasons to learn French as there is French learners. But why is it so important to know your reason to learn French? It's because from that goal, you're going to determine what you need to learn. Because maybe you don't need to learn about how to write a formal letter in French. If you just intend to speak French with your family, for example, you certainly have other things to do, right? So I am super serious. Write down right now why you want to learn French. Because if you don't do it now and that you start learning French without so much of an end goal in mind, you're gonna end up frustrated, really. Because you're going to feel like what you are doing doesn't really get you closer to where you want to be. You'll find that you will learn blindly, and so by doing that you will lose your motivation in the long run, and you will just, not actually speak French in the end. Or you might even decide that you're just not cut for it, which is complete nonsense. Anyone is capable of learning French, really. Second step is to determine what you need to learn from your goal. Once you know what you want to achieve, it's time to get a bit technical and look at it backwards and see exactly what do you need to know to be able to do what you want to do. For example, if you want to speak French with your family, what do you need to be able to do? You need to be able to greet people. You need to be able to do a bit of small talk. You need to talk about yourself, your opinions, maybe joking. You see, just making that list, it is much more clearer what you need to learn and what you need to work on if you want to achieve your goal, if you want to speak French like you want to speak French. If you are a bit lost, if your goal is a bit maybe vague, it helps to think in terms of situations. For example, let's go back to your goal. If I was to want to learn French, to speak with my family, maybe I would need to think about the kinds of conversation I will have in French with my family. What you can do is write a few sentences that you're very likely to say. Now think about your own situation and create a list of what you want to be able to say, read, understand, etc. The third step is to create your study plan, create your plan. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's going to be the list that you refer to when you say, okay, I achieved that step. I know how to greet people in French. What do I do next? What else do I want to know? So from the list that you have done from the 2 previous steps, what you're going to do is that you're going to organize those lists into manageable, smaller chunks, if you will. Like a roadmap. Once you will achieve one, you will go to the next one, etc., etc. You can also add the sentences that you want to be able to say. Write them in English, and they'll be your starting point to start learning about that specific topic that you wrote down. But don't go too far, don't write dialogues just yet. You'll use those sentences as starting points only. Once you finish that, this is what I call a study plan. It's what you're going to refer to on a regular basis to assess what you still need to learn and what you have achieved so far. Don't forget that you can actually sign up for the email course, which will take you through all of the steps. And with the email course, you also get a printable that you can print and actually write your study plan on. Okay, now that you have your study plan, it's time to think about how you're going to achieve the things that you have on this list. And the step number 4 is to assess how your brain works the best. Because, you know, not everyone learns the same way. And especially for language learning, it's a very good thing to know about yourself. How does your brain work? How do you personally retain information the best? Because chances are reading a book and doing grammar exercises is probably not helping you. It might be. I mean, it depends on the way your brain works, right? So what is it for you? Do you prefer to learn with a teacher, on your own? Do you prefer to watch movies or read books? Do you prefer to talk with your cat? Would you like to speak with someone every day? Get clear on that. And if you don't know how your brain works, it's okay. Learning French is going to be way more than just learning French in your case then. Step number 5 is to determine how you need to learn. This is different from the step number 4, which is determining how your brain works. How you need to learn is based on what your goals are. For example, if I want to speak French with my family, I need to concentrate on listening, comprehension, and speaking. Because if you get this wrong, you're going to end up disappointed. You won't be able to communicate how you want to communicate. Maybe you'll be really good at reading or at listening to movies, but you won't be able to actually make a sound in French. So really get clear on that. Should you concentrate on writing, speaking, listening, or reading, or maybe all of them at the same time? In most cases, I recommend, because I imagine that you're not learning French just for the sole purpose of reading it, which is totally fine as well, but you know, if you want to work on your pronunciation and on your listening skill, I recommend sentence mining. I have a video on the subject and I have audio trainings. I will put the links to them in the description below the video. Go and check that out if you really want to work on your pronunciation. Step number 6, now that you know how you are supposed to learn and how you need to learn, you need to create yourself a routine, taking those 2 things into account. Because yes, learning a language does come with practice, and it's not a practice you're going to do weekly, it's a practice you're going to do daily. And yes, it is possible to learn French when you're super busy, because I actually made a whole video on the subject, which I will link here on the screen, there. And yeah, go and check that out. There is examples of routines that you can follow. Please, though, create your own, okay? It can be as low as 15 minutes per day, and in 3 months you'll be amazed by the progress you're making if only you are consistent. And finally, the 7th step, and it's a really important step, more important than most people think, is to select the right resources. And by right resources, I mean entertaining, relevant, and accurate. And those 3, entertaining, relevant, and accurate, not to everyone, but to you and your goals. That means you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy spending time with your French resources. Would it be YouTube videos, movies, book, blogs, podcasts, anything you want really. But these resources, they have to be good for you and your goal. So keep in mind to alternate all of that and to really find resources that are really right for you. If you want YouTube channel, I have a YouTube master list with more than 100 channels and lots of different topics that you can go and check out. Movies, I have a video on the subject, and books, I have a video on the subject. I will link all that in the description below the video, so go and check that out, please. And voila, you're all set up for success. You should have your study plan and your routine. And with that, you just have to simply follow what you wrote. Okay, if you're a bit overwhelmed right now, don't worry, it's totally normal. Just take a step back, go back to it. Later on, come back to this video or sign up for the 7 days free email course on how to create your own French study plan and receive a new set of actions every day of the week. And at the end of the week, you will have your own study plan. All right, let's recap though before we end this video. Step number 1 is to get clear on the end result that you are shooting for. Step number 2 is to determine what you need to learn in order to achieve your goal. Step number 3 is to create yourself a study plan, your battle plan if you wish. Step number 4 is to assess how you learn your best, meaning how your brain is working. Step number 5 is to determine how you need to learn. What do you need to be able to do? Reading, listening, speaking, or writing, or all of it. Step number 6 is to create yourself a routine according to all that you saw before. And step number 7 is to select the right resources for you, resources that are entertaining, relevant, and accurate. That's it for today. That was a long video, so please apply what you've learned this week. Keep learning, keep laughing, and I'll see you Friday for Vendredi Vocabulary on Just French It. À la prochaine!